Politics has convinced people who want to be leaders that to be a leader you need to be liked. But to be a leader is the complete antithesis. You're not there to be liked. You make the most uncomfortable decisions for the growth and future of the people who choose to follow you.
Yeah.
And we've got people going, do you like this? Okay, they say they don't. We're not going to, you idiot. It is the 25th of December 2020. Whoa.
25 December. Happy Christmas.
So you're asking me about what do I think is going to happen to T.D. Jakes in light of the Diddy thing?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Why?
Hey, maybe he's bi. Leave the pastor alone. I mean, it's interesting that it's T.D. Jakes. I mean, it's like, what can you say? If he was manipulative and created victims, different story.
Yeah, that was what I was asking.
If he's just going to orgies, he went to an orgy.
That was not what I was asking.
But
maybe it was.
T.D. Jakes at an orgy, because it's hard to look at T.D. Jakes in a different... T.D. Jakes, out of all the pastors we have in the world, everyone looks at him and goes, Father.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you just... How you articulate your messages. You could be an atheist going... When you speak, it's different.
Papa.
So it's like, if he has victims...
Yeah. I hope not, but I would like to think that he's really clued up, and I think he's just really with the way Christian folks are, and I'm talking about the ones that I've been privy to their lives and their secrets and whatever. We know how to hide stuff. We know how to live one life or to portray one life and live totally different. So I would think that if that's what he was doing, that he hid it very well, and he would know which rooms not to be in. I think he was just mentor, maybe. I think he was just
Diddy.
mentor. Hey?
Mentor to Diddy, is that what you mean?
Yeah. Like he is with a whole lot of other
yes.
celebrities. So I just think that he was mentor, and because I believe that Diddy could also just portray one side of him and just say that, hey, look, I want to be seen as a good guy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use him as my mentor, and then, I do what I do.
I can believe that. I think for us who are part of the Christian faith, I think sometimes we are more Christian than Jesus himself. We start judging why is T.D. Jakes and maybe Diddy is a bad example in light of everything that's going on, but it's like, why is Joel Osteen chilling with Eminem? Why should that bother you? Who else should Eminem chill with?
Where do you enter?
Exactly. And it's like, and I heard someone say this before. They said, if Jesus was here in 2024, he probably wouldn't be in any of your churches because you don't represent him well.
Yeah.
He would probably be found in the club. When I heard that, I was like, okay, we have a conversation, because maybe that's the Jesus I want to follow.
Yeah.
The one who likes the people and the outcasts.
I don't think we're ready for that. We aren't ready to accept them. We aren't ready. We don't know what to do with an outcast, because then it forces me to show who I am. The minute I sit with an outcast, it shows how comfortable I am with you. It shows how I relate to you. And an outcast can immediately identify, because a clubber can identify a clubber, a drinker can identify a drinker, right? An alcoholic. So I can't be too close to you, because just now you're going to see into me. So there's no way I'm going to be or actually sit with the outcasts and the others. We say come as you are, but we don't really mean it.
But that's the beauty of real relationship. I think some people are blessed enough to have friends that allow you to be layered.
Yeah.
We can be the Christian of the Christians, but those once in a while wild thoughts that you want to share, some friends can absorb that and go, but I still know you're still a decent, standard, consistent person.
Yeah.
And it's so sad to see that some people have a rigid approach to life, and they don't realize the expense is the transparency and vulnerability in your relationships, because now everyone's performing.
Yeah.
So in light of the Diddy thing and T.D. Jakes, I can only hope that man is still like clean. And listen, out of all the American pastors worth listening to, he's the only one left. I'm done with all the other trending guys. Like, they're cool and all, but I'm done. Stop the circus.
Not even Mike.
I'll say it again. Stop the circus.
Why? Is it because he shows there real time how to or what he's talking about? Is he just too
boring? Like,
why?
I don't know. I just don't get there's an audience for it, and maybe the audience is people who are who didn't grow up in church. Maybe it is the person who stayed unsaved and they're just shocked to see someone can be so theatrical with the message. And maybe that is necessary. There's a time and place for that. I get that. But there's something that's like it feels superficial, or it feels very it feels like we're in now infancy stage of our faith. And we need people like that who do care for that. But sometimes I want to be confronted with other things. Like there's a church service I enjoy going to recently. Dope in how they present their messages. But I had to compare it to the previous church I went to, and I was like, oh, you guys always like telling people how great they are. Don't tell me that. Tell me you need to get your stuff in order.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you could lose your family if you keep doing ABC. Like, I need that kind of person. That's what T.D. Jakes does. He has that balance where I'm talking to you who doesn't go to church, but I'm also talking to you who treats your employees unfairly. He does it excellently.
But then you get your Mike Todds who will be very theatrical, but then they help like people who have an attention span problem, your ADHD people, my kids who can't sit for longer than 30 seconds, and if they're watching him act out what he's trying to convey, maybe that helps. So it's not for the person who can sit through an hour long.
Yeah, that's my issue.
It's not us. We can sit through an hour long and then we still want some more. And then we say I'm about to leave, and they're not leaving. So the kids, when they say 5 minutes, it's 5 minutes out.
Maybe put something in their water.
How?
Maybe if you go to the Potter's house, everyone has a bottle of water. We just don't know. Is it?
I've never been. But the thing is, I sit at home and I watch it. The entire 1 hour, 7 seconds of it. But still on the Christian folk, whom I love and whom I'm a part of. There was a bad snowstorm. Can we call it a snowstorm? Is it a blizzard? We had snow in Sauda. Proper snow. It wasn't sleet, right? And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see any Christian folk, and I'm not too sure if we've got an organization of Christian folk that go and help in situations like that. But guess who was there?
Gift of the givers. This is
without faith.
This is a good time to say hi.
You're watching before you weekend. You're watching before you weekend. You're watching before you weekend. Hey, you're watching before you weekend.
We'll talk about the week before it ends.
Guys, it's been how long again since 50? We're at number 51. We did it. We are back. We are still here. We still love you guys, and you guys still love us. Sorry, I'm going to take these earrings off because it's irritating. But welcome, guys, to you and yours. Hi, TK.
Hey, Lynn.
Are you good?
Yo, the world's on fire.
It's always been on fire.
Snow. Do you think God brought snow to South Africa because South Africa's doing too well? And they're like,
where it's doing too well. Where
sports, entertainment, South Africa's doing pretty well. We're just waiting for. I think politics is still buffering. So, but everything else is doing fairly well. And maybe it's like you guys are just too much. Slow it down.
Just because South Africa is doing well, God is punishing the entire.
Yeah, every time God's trying to address South Africans, he always speaks to KZN. Think about it. It's always the Zulu people God has to address because everyone else is fine. But when something goes wrong, it's always Zulu people. It's either the taxi drivers, it's either the tribe, it's either people in leopard print shirts. It's always something there.
I love it because you said it and I'm not there. I still love you guys.
I'm just saying, study the patterns when something goes wrong. Who does God speak to first?
I saw on TikTok because now people, they were happy. Those ones that were safe, in their homes and whatever, they were busy with their snowmen and whatever. And they were like, yeah, Joburg, where's your snowman now? What can you say? And then Johannesburg retaliated and said, next time you have a flood, next time you have a hurricane and a tornado, don't call us.
That is so rude.
Already it was a back and forth on some, fine, we see your snow. We raise you weather that we can actually live
I don't know, is it worth glamorizing that there was snow? I think the fact that there was snow again in South Africa at that rate tells us more now than ever before that there's something wrong with our climate change. Maybe not
Oh,
wrong,
definitely.
but it's like, how many more indications do you want?
Yeah.
Like, now we've given every other African country a reason to go, you guys aren't really African. Because why do you guys have snow? Where else is there snow on this continent, this beautiful, blessed continent of ours?
Guys, I don't know. I was waiting for the Christian folk to like say, guys, now is the time. Let's go on our knees. We need to pray. And they disappointed me. They didn't.
No. That's what we do. We are gifted.
Are we waiting for this Sunday?
No, we're going to be another disappointment. Our community is very slow in acting.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter started. Where were the Christians? We were still doing services. We didn't care. Gay people were getting murdered. Where are they? They were nowhere to be found. So we got let me say it like this. Our Christian community is pathetic in acting. Well, I guess I'm not coming to church this Sunday, but we are pathetic. We are very slow. When it's time to be part of the change, wait for everyone else to have a voice. And they go, yeah, you know what? The Bible says.
The Bible says.
Where were you?
I don't know. If we're trying to win souls, this is definitely not the way to do it.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. I mean, people gave up their lives and went to go and save fellow South Africans.
I saw the news said 2 people died in the snow.
I've heard that.
That was like heartbreaking to read.
And also, like, I mean, what were we supposed to do? We had a radio presenter that has hypothermia, and she's still in hospital, I believe, struggling. And what she had done was, I found it. I mean, it's the small things, guys. You don't have to. Sometimes just. Okay, let's just leave the Christians out of it. I'm just going to leave them out of it. We're done. Sharp. So at one point, they'd open their windows, and from time to time, they would just like reach out and, guys, flicker your lights, just, open your windows, say hi, just show that you guys are still okay. So they were checking in with people as far as their eyes could see, if they still okay. So that was one thing. They had to walk, I think it was like about a 2-hour walk for the nearest place for food and water. They did that. They shared as much as they could. And in that, she got sick, And then Sada said, but you could have, as a radio host, as a personality, as a celebrity, you could have done more. And I'm like, how much more are you looking to do? People are going to Durban, right? First of all, you know that when you travel down to Durban, pack warm, but I mean, you don't have to stress all that much. Yes, they did say that it's going to be cold, but you're not thinking snowstorm. You're not thinking like the situation that we found ourselves in. What was she supposed to do? She's looking after her life, her health. They were going to a funeral, so it's not like...
I like that you brought this up, and this wasn't part of my notes. This reminds me of the Shxtsngigs podcast. I mean, they've been had for the past few weeks about them not protecting black women and whatever else. And for those who don't know, and maybe we need to start doing this whenever we introduce a topic, we kind of need to give context.
Yeah.
But I suck at explaining, so please fill in the gaps. So Shxtsngigs is a podcast based in UK. Some of you guys know them. Some of you girls are in love with them. They were in America. They were into Andrew Schultz's podcast called Flagrant or whatever it's called.
Something of that sort.
And Andrew Schultz is a comedian. If you guys know Andrew Schultz, his comedy he sometimes touches boundaries that globally or socially we go, don't discuss that topic.
Yeah.
But he likes going there. I kind of like him here and there. So he said jokes about the black girl effect, and they were laughing at that. People took that clip and shared it across all social media platforms, and they got dragged. And basically the consensus was Shxtsngigs, even though the primary audience is black women, they didn't stand for black women when they could have. When Andrew Schultz had a joke, they just laughed it off.
Yeah.
Fast forward, they tried to do a public apology on their podcast, and then Andrew Schultz did a reaction to that where he said, they did ask us to remove things, and then he says, guess which parts they didn't ask to be removed, and was the parts of the joke. So, of course, people's anger doubled down. And this is a conversation we're having before the recording. Sometimes we put certain people on a pedestal that I don't want to say shouldn't be there, but you're expecting them to stand for something even though they showed you their true colors long beforehand. And I think and I'm not even saying this in defense of Shxtsngigs. I'm just saying this to kind of segue with what you spoke about when they said, oh, but you're a presenter, you got money. Because in South Africa, we assume that if you're famous, you have money. You can be famous and broke in South Africa. A lot of famous people are broke. we expect someone like Shxtsngigs to stand strong for black women, but that was never their mission. They're not an NGO.
Yeah, no.
That's not their purpose or function.
Yeah.
So to ask people who don't do it to suddenly be ambassadors of something you believe in is quite unfair for consumers or the audience to go, why didn't you? No, they were being who they've shown you to be for years. It's your fault that you believed in more. Yeah. It's your fault that you raised your expectations in someone who didn't say they deliver that.
And then you get, why did you stay? Right? So I'm thinking in terms of an abusive relationship, whether it's physical or emotional, verbal, whatever the case may be. Why did you stay? I no longer watch the full thing, right? Because I just find it too much, but I still watch the shorts, right? So I watch their clips because that's as much as I can handle, unless something forces me to watch a longer length content that they might put out there, right? And the reason for this is I'm somebody that can watch 2-hour long content. I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem. But I felt very uncomfortable with the way they felt about black women, or the way they sounded off on black women, right?
So that's at one moment, or
no, just over time.
Okay,
you could see it, and I could see it because it's not an overseas thing. It's also a South African thing. I've got people on my contact list that talk that way, and I'm like, oh, so you don't like black women, and I'm not sure how that works because you're black yourself, right? So I can identify it very quickly. So if there's something that catches my eye, or somebody sends me something, then I'll watch it. But that's reason enough for me to stop watching their content. I don't have to go online and say, hey guys, let's boycott, I don't have to do that. I can just stop, but I haven't. I still watch it, right? Knowing that this is how they once made me feel. So there are people out there that even though they talk badly of, or they don't really rate black women, very highly, or they don't protect them, in what they're saying or what other people are saying, they still watch.
Yeah.
They still come back and they watch. And I'm not saying that they are abusers, but it's a trait very familiar with, right? An abuser who will say something and then you're like, I don't know, I feel good in his company sometimes, so therefore I'll continue. So those women, people that, it's very few and far in between the people that are having an uproar on their behavior, right? A lot of men actually stood up for black women. A few women obviously as well. But I don't think enough women will stand up and say, look, enough is enough. We've been seeing it. This is like,
Yeah, you constantly feel like it's time to stand up when you've been a proponent
the whole time.
Yeah,
we've been there.
Time.
We've been watching.
Yeah, so it's like that. I think, and I'm not trying to say black women stand down. It's just you're a little late.
We're a little bit.
You waited for this.
Now's the time you can, but also at the same time we know that they're still going to have an audience, a very, very large.
Yeah, it's not going to go down.
I saw a drop in numbers because it fascinates me. I get a notification for when they drop something, and I would quickly go in just to see how quick their numbers, grow. And especially this week, especially after the response to them saying that, no, we felt like it was a fight or flight kind of situation, and we didn't know what to do, so we kind of like hee hee ha ha. When the response came that, no, you guys didn't cut that part out, that's when I saw the numbers dropping. They still rose, but it wasn't like...
So it's almost like a digital protest? Is that what would you
define
it as that?
I think it's a digital process. Protest. I don't think... If you haven't been watching, you might not see. They are the ones that would see that, okay, it's hitting us a bit. But if you haven't been watching how quickly the numbers rise from notification to X amount thousand of views... Now you can see that, okay, it's steadily rising. It's not the immediate drop everything and then just watch, which I've noticed. So
I think digital protest is a necessary way of showing resistance or showing no support. At the same time, just not viewing is also a protest. You don't have to comment.
Yeah, you don't have to comment.
Or protect black women. Like, the algorithm's going, oh, there's a comment. Let's put it up.
Exactly.
Another protect black women against these guys. Algorithm furthers their reach.
Yeah. But
Like, for
anyway.
example, I put a video up on TikTok about
Yeah.
about straight men, and I said UK has the big three.
Yeah.
But in my version, the big three, and I mentioned the names. And the one thing I feel the algorithm did was, because I prompted the video by saying, as a straight man, I find these men too attractive. I feel like TikTok picked that up, and they realized, oh, let's sexualize this a bit.
Yeah.
And it blew up.
Yeah.
And I feel like the algorithm doesn't really pick up nuance. Because this shouldn't have gone too far.
Yeah.
It should have just been those who follow me would see it. Now everyone's going, but you keep saying as
Yeah,
a straight
as a
man.
straight man.
Are you
Are
really
you-
straight?
are you hiding
Like, okay, so you're not hearing the premise of this conversation.
Mostly female or male?
A lot of women came to the comments, but a lot of men came going, why do you have to keep saying as a straight man? I just edited well, so you don't even hear how many times you're playing it back. Yes, I'm dangerous sometimes.
It was a very good clip, but also I just felt, and I shouldn't be saying this because I didn't really vote for the three. I had like one or two guys, South African men, right, that I felt would. They can't stand to Idris. You can just say they are together, right?
Okay,
but
so-
you can't say that head like toe to toe.
Okay, for 5 minutes before we get to the serious stuff, I spoke about UK's most attractive men, and I said
Yeah.
Aaron Pierre, Idris Elba, Damson Idris, because all the women are going crazy.
Aaron
with him.
Pierre is the light skinned
The
guy.
light-skinned guy in Rebel
he's so
Ridge.
delicious.
So I could see, like, this is a man you don't bring your girlfriend or wife around.
Yeah.
Because they'll be thinking about him the next time you're in bed. You can see it.
No.
Look at that man. Even I know, if I stand next to you, I'm going to stay single for the rest of the night.
I mean,
Tell me more about yourself, Aaron.
There's
Does he carry your bags?
There's a few people. There are a few people who don't like light skinned guys, and he just happened to be light skinned. I
With
know.
those eyes?
The eyes. You know where I found him to be really, really sexy is in his most recent movie. Which what's the name of that one where he's fighting for his cousin and what?
Rebel Ridge.
That one. There I was like, okay, this man, let's not say what I want that man to do. To me. Okay. But I just found him to be really good looking there.
Okay, so in the TikTok video, we prompted, if we had to send 3 of South Africa's most attractive men to compete against them,
Yeah.
who do you send? So the common thing was Thapelo Mokoena. Everyone said he has to go. And maybe to some degree I can see why. And then they mentioned the cost of adulting.
Yeah. But then Thapelo,
Who else was- yeah.
you have to have two categories, right? So Thapelo would go with the cast of the wife, and not everybody from the wife, but Uputomdal. I forgot what his name is, but the oldest brother, right? So you're gonna not in terms of age, but just in terms of the salt and pepper look that he's got going on, and he's been around for a
I
while.
struggle to see attractive South African men. I don't know why.
Well, I suppose that would save you then on your whole as a straight man.
Yeah. Like you
You can see
I can see
elsewhere.
Thapelo.
Yeah.
I can see why women are going, yes. As for
You
the other
can't
guys
see
they mentioned,
Temkosi.
no.
Okay. I don't know.
There was no one else. Thapelo Mokoena was the only one. Like, I can see why you guys would say he has to represent us.
For me, it's like, okay. Yeah, I mean, he's handsome, but I wouldn't. I think the way that we think as women, we think, if I had the opportunity to have that person, right?
Yeah.
That's not one of the people that
Do
I
you-
think could handle.
Do you have, as a woman, do you have space in your heart for your partner cheating on you with someone like really gorgeous? Does your mind go, okay, but I can see why?
We've
And there's guys in the studio. They're not mics, but I'll tell you what their reaction is. Do you ever understand? And like, if your wife or girlfriend had to cheat on you with someone like really attractive, does your mind go, I can understand why, or your brain just can't fathom that?
Yeah.
You can go, I understand why.
so as you will say to your partner, I understand why.
I mean, yeah, if that person is good looking,
Okay,
yeah.
Bali.
Yeah. Also, Rich Nisi is.
Oh, that's a good one. I fully Thapelo and Rich. Yes.
Okay. I didn't have I didn't have a celebrity per se, but once upon a time I had.
I am a celebrity. What do you mean?
When?
I'm playing.
To the people that send me stuff in my DMs, stop, please. Okay, so I had a crush, right? Well-known person. When the should I be saying this? I'm thinking, what would Calvin do in this moment? I'm thinking, what would Calvin do? Anyway, long story short, he said, I'm not in that guy's league. So I'm not good enough for that guy. Right? And I was like, huh.
This
and
is
then,
a girl saying this?
Hey?
Was this a lady saying this?
No, this is a man partner saying to me.
Oh, okay.
Because now we're talking like hall pass, who's your person, hall pass, who's your
okay.
person. And I was like, that's my person.
Yeah.
And he gave his person. And I was like, huh, okay, cool. Plus, she used to stay in the Val, whatever. It makes sense, that kind of thing. If she ever had to come and visit Spooking, you might get with her. That was my response. His response was, he's not in your league. So, yeah, like I'm punching way above my weight kind of thing. Yeah.
That's very interesting. This sounds like another topic for a different podcast.
I dated him, but...
Oh.
Yes.
Wait, before this conversation?
No, after.
You should have sent a couple's photo to him.
I'm waiting for the day. It's coming.
Let's start off with your favorite, your parents' favorite containers. Tupperware has filed for bankruptcy.
It's been coming for a long time now.
I don't think so. I have an issue with that when I read this article. So for those who don't know what's going on in the world, Tupperware, your mother's favorite container brand, has filed for bankruptcy. The news stipulates or says that they are $700 million in debt. This is over the space of, I think they say 10 years. And some of the reasons are the acquisition and expansion of the brand went far and they couldn't keep up with the payments. They acquired a cosmetic brand. They don't mention the name. Or is there a brand called Beautyware? Is there something like that?
Not that I'm aware of.
I thought that they're categorizing it, but it said Beautyware. I was like, I didn't know what that is.
Yeah.
Those are primarily the reasons. And then, of course, the lack of sales. This is my issue. One... especially, and I don't know if it's the same all over the world, but like in Africa, kids are just taking their parents' Tupperware. Parents aren't going, go buy Tupperware. Two, I think, was it in the 90s that mothers became sales agents to sell Tupperware?
Yeah.
I don't think they still do that anymore. That changed.
Yeah.
Three, they said one of the other reasons was there was cheaper competitors.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
that's possible.
Definitely.
Here is my issue with a brand like Tupperware when you've been around for so long. When you've been around for so long, you have that much capital and you're at the prime of your company. You have the privilege of trying and failing, and you didn't do that.
Yeah.
So before Stanley Cup became a thing, and please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, Stanley has been there for like 100 years or something.
Yeah, it's been there for a long time.
And so only when they made this new product that people like sales went up.
Yeah.
They had so many years to try and make their own version of that. And that's just one product I'm thinking about. Where's the where's the Louis Vuitton Tupperware kit? For all the people who chase status, because this is the world we're in now. People just want to look like they're rich and not be rich.
Yeah.
Where's your Gucci collab with Tupperware?
Yeah.
You had the money, you had the access to these people. There's so many opportunities that they slept on.
Yeah.
I'm if there's a sales director, I don't know what the positions are. I should have gone to LinkedIn. What were you doing for the past 10 years?
What was marketing doing for the past 10 years? I think there definitely was a conversation that Lebu Lion had. She had it on one of her lives. And it was too long ago. But she's definitely somebody that had such great insight into this whole issue with Tupperware, right? And it's one thing that shouldn't have gone down that way. Our mothers at that time, it wasn't seen as, oh my gosh, you sell Tupperware? I mean,
Yeah.
It was an upstanding job. And then all of a sudden, somehow, some way, it changed to, there's the lady with the Tupperware kind of thing, So that dropped. And I think there are a few other brands that sort of sell their products in that manner, right? Which have dropped. I think they should have really looked at their marketing, dropped their product range because there was just way too much.
I don't think there was way too much. I don't think there was not enough.
Really?
Because you're going to still buy... The moment you become an adult, you realize how important containers are.
Oh, dear.
Because you're not trying to cook for the next 2, 3, 4 days.
Yeah.
I think the product range was enough.
Yeah.
They just they weren't curious enough to see what else is there outside of plastic. Where was their non-renewable campaign?
Yeah.
Like, hire me, Tupperware, please. Just make sure my severance package is also like $10 million.
Little too late. Yeah.
$700 million in debt. You are so close to $1 billion.
Everybody's
Who is the
got
idiot involved?
Something. Everybody's got something in their homes. Something of Tupperware.
Everybody's got something.
Everybody's got.
And I hear the excuses. There were competitors selling at a reduced rate. Who is the competitor to Tupperware? I'm sure there are other like made in China names.
Yeah.
But was there anyone who had a name as significant as Tupperware? Because Tupperware is technically the Nike of storage.
Yeah. And that's what maybe it's just a South African thing, right? Where we call Colgate, we will name toothpaste Colgate. It doesn't matter if it's Aquafresh, if it's whatever. Everything is Colgate, right? So everything is Tupperware. And you're actually just talking about iskaftin from, a retail store, your Mr. Price, your paper, whatever, no name. So everything is Tupperware. So they should have gone on that as well, right? I know that if I want a good quality, long-lasting water bottle and I'm in gym, I know that I've got to go to Tupperware because it's going to last for long, right? And it's strong, blah, 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 whatever. All of those things, you have so many opportunities to really just double down and say, guys, this is the brand.
Yeah.
This is the reason why you are paying this amount.
Yeah.
People don't mind.
Was Tupperware that expensive? I've never personally gone to buy Tupperware. Sorry, guys, have you ever gone to buy Tupperware? I'm asking the producers, by the way, every time you see me look there.
No.
My parents do.
Your parents do? So our generation doesn't... Is it fair to say our generation doesn't buy?
Have you seen it in your girlfriend's houses, gay? As men, obviously, maybe you might just... It's not something that you do, but... Because you drink from a water bottle that you buy from Pick and Pay, and then you use it again for water. So
not Tupperware. It's just generic...
just
brands.
generic stuff.
But it's not Tupperware.
My father buying Delaware thing and
Thank you. That's us.
This would have been my strategy. My advertising, if I was the advertising director for Tupperware... Lie. Well, I mean, advertising is lies. But say, this container, you buy McDonald's fries today.
Yeah.
It's going to taste as fresh as you bought it the next day. You know how many people love fries?
Yeah. I mean, they did that, but it just didn't. It
When
didn't
did they do
speak
that?
to. It didn't speak to your generation, not ours. Your generation.
We are the same generation. You're only a few years older.
Okay, fine. Somebody else's generation, the younger generation, right? They weren't really speaking because you put in their fresh strawberries and whatever.
No one cares about eating healthy fries. They want their Steers and McDonald's
what I'm
fries.
saying. They're not talking to that generation. They're not speaking to what they are dealing with every single day. They aren't in the content creators who busy and you're busy packing your fridge. Somebody who's a content creator, come and pack my fridge. I could care less. I mean, I like it to be neat and tidy and whatever.
That's a good idea.
I don't want... I mean, why didn't they get that? Something that looks good in the fridge. I don't want it to be purple and pink and... Make it look good in the fridge. Make it look good.
The stylish look.
Aesthetically pleasing. Wada fish paste. And then give it to content creators. Maybe that would, push it out a little bit more.
Open up a container and you're hearing a Michael Jackson classic. And they close it like, this is how fresh the song still sounds.
You are dumb. You are so stupid.
That would have been a good idea. Like, as
So
fresh
dumb.
as a new Michael Jackson song.
We tried, guys.
Guys, give me money. It's only money that I want. I have ideas for you. I just can't say that was, I mean, I've got other things here, but that was the most important thing I wanted to really discuss. And I'm hoping you guys will engage on this particular topic. I want to know, what would you have done differently had you been part of the C-suite of Tupperware? What would your decision-making process be? Because I don't see any reason why you should be filing for bankruptcy. It's only stupidity that I see. Maybe I'm just not there. Maybe I've never run a company that's this big at that size doing this much around the world. Fair.
Yeah.
But surely there's something that you could have fixed this before you even thought about bankruptcy.
I don't know if Lebu still is doing like podcasts. Maybe she should come and sit in with us.
Does Lebu Lion still record you?
No.
Lebu, please come here. I know you don't watch
No,
this.
your friends.
Clip, send it, people.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Did you know that we have not even started this entire thing?
Oh, guys, sorry.
I just
too
realized
late.
right now it's too late.
I mean, we'll have it running like science to the hourglass. Sorry about that, people. But I can see the time. We started at something 38.
Okay.
Okay. In Switzerland, a suicide pod was invented.
Pod.
Yeah, so you can literally go in. It's like a pod, and if you want to end yourself,
Yeah.
you can. You kind of, I think you like pay as a service,
Yeah.
and someone actually did that. So what happens is you sit in this pod and you control the variables. The variables
Okay.
are remove oxygen, increase nitrogen. You with me?
Hmm.
And there's an escape button. If
Okay.
you do change your mind, you can end it. You can stop the process. But if you want to continue, you can click on increase nitrogen, remove oxygen, and there's this process that starts happening. They put you in charge of that process, but you pay for the pod, of course. Someone actually went and did that. And since they did that, there's been an uproar. And this is in Europe, so it's not really hitting Africa news like that.
Yeah.
It just came across my algorithm. I was like, this is a very interesting case because people are saying this invention has to end. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the last thing I read, they arrested the inventors of the product. And I kind of want to play devil's advocate.
And say
go,
what? Culpable homicide or something.
If you're going to arrest the inventors of the suicide pod, then there's probably 10 million doctors you need to arrest with that. Because even doctors are sending people to their own death.
Yeah, but I think doctors can argue it away. That those guys, this is the intention. Doctors can say, I tried to save their life. I suggested that you take this. You overdosed.
Doctors are prescribing medication they know
misdiagnosed.
has
I'm not God.
huge side effects.
I'm not God. So I misdiagnosed. It happens. It's a mistake. Askis. That's the doctor side. With somebody that says, I've invented this, it definitely works, because how many people have tried and failed? Attempted and failed, right? So this definitely works. The amount of nitrogen that's going to be coming in, or carbon dioxide that's going to be coming in, you're gone, right? So those people, you can definitely argue. You can't argue with the doctor, I don't think. I don't think you can say doctors as well should be added to that count.
Let's forget the doctors. The guys who run those purse strings, Big Pharma and whatnot.
Yeah,
and I don't know who runs South Africa's
Yeah.
one. But no, I'm not saying there should be no punishment or they should not be arrested. Maybe it should just be banned, but not arrest. Just because I create the product, it's your choice that you use my service.
But you're allowing for murder. What is that?
No, you're not. I created something, you choose.
When people I don't know. I designed a knife that, I don't know, never gets blunt, what, and that same knife is the one that was used in multiple, murders. That person that designed the knife obviously didn't design it for murder. They designed it for something else, but it was used, in murders. These people designed a contraption that can help you to off yourself. There was intention there. No.
So you think the arrest is fair?
I think the arrest is fair.
On what charge?
That's homicide, bruh.
No, it's not.
Your hand is in there, definitely.
You gave me money.
You are saying, guys, here, your intent is, right? Your intent is suicide. I want to be gone. That is my intent as a human being. They don't know me, but that is my intent. I hear that this is what they've got. I pay them. I go in, and it works. It is built solely for suicide, not for anything else. If it was for something else, different story. I just happens to figure out that, okay, if I do this for long enough, then, I won't be alive for much longer. So that's not the case. The intent was murder.
But you're basically saying they must be arrested because they're trying to play God. But they're not trying to play God, because I don't decide when you want to off yourself. You decide that. I just because then should we not be holding drug dealers to even a higher consequence because they're selling drugs that can end you, but they're given 10, 15 years. I don't know what you guys know what the sentences are maybe, but should they not be held to an exaggerated amount of life sentences then?
Well, definitely, because you can't
But
talk
people
your way
don't.
around
But people
it.
take drugs for pleasure, even though they know death is the end. Is that also not suicide if I overdose? So what
The
should
thing
happen
is,
then to the drug
you,
dealer?
You're selling pleasure.
Damn it!
I'm
I'm
not-
ready to be a lawyer, guys.
No, you aren't. Just stay away from court because you're just a mess. Just you're selling pleasure. Definitely, they should also have an equal, sentence if they are caught or whatever. But they can argue that I'm selling pleasure. It's not my problem that you took too much. Mina, I'm selling a little cubicle that will emit this gas that will certainly kill you. If you want to escape, you need to do it. But no, it'll certainly.
Yes, they've given you escape. If you change your mind, you can escape.
But you're gonna die for certain.
This is tricky. I can even the producers are like, this
I
is a tricky one."
don't have the stats, right? I don't have the stats, but I don't think that people who have, I don't know what the wording is, but maybe failed or an unsuccessful suicide. I don't think that if you've experienced an unsuccessful suicide, it was because you opted out. It was because you didn't take enough of, or something snapped, or whatever the case may be. A freak of nature, and you weren't able to complete the entire thing, right? So those people weren't opting out. So there is no way, and nobody needs to know this, but I've attempted, right? And I did everything right. It just didn't work. I did not at any time say, I'm sorry, I don't want to do this. My intent was to complete this entire journey. So those people that are going there, I can bet you now, the amount of people that are going to be saying, nah, are probably just there for the experience. There's going to be a small number of people that would, maybe rethink the entire thing, but it's going to be a very small amount of people. The people that will actually go in there and go through with it, it's murder.
I applaud your vulnerability in this topic. I still stand by. I don't think they should be arrested. Perhaps ban the product.
Just ban, and they mustn't go to jail.
I don't think they should be punished for it. I gave you water. I didn't force you to drink it. Is that what is it called? Proverb or whatever.
I don't know. I'd love to see what people are saying about it. I'd love to see what their reactions and their opinions and inputs are, but I think murder is murder, bro.
Tricky.
But I'm allowing you. You're saying it's suicide, right? Yes, fine. But I'm enabling you into this thing.
Would you then, if a person goes there, we're literally thinking of committing the act, right? So rather do it in a clinical, easy way than do it in a very messy way as well.
What do they call that where you ask a nurse or whatever, you know that maybe you're in too much pain, it's not that you know that you're dying. Some people, yes. Those people go to jail, right? Nurses or doctors.
You can't walk in a hospital and ask to be euthanized. They don't do that. You have to be. You need is it called a curatorship, whatever that term is.
Yeah.
Someone has to decide that for you when they can see you. There is no way you can proceed with life like this.
Okay. So now the opinion was, sorry, what did you say again just now?
Rather do it in a clinical way, safe
Yeah.
way than do it, let's say, in a very messy way that will leave people traumatized.
Yeah.
Whitney Houston.
Rather just do it in a very,
You're so dumb.
yeah.
That's the best example.
But then they should allow hospitals to do it, and I shouldn't need to pay for it. No?
Should hospitals?
Because if it's a clinical way of doing it, if I'm going to make sure that it's not going to traumatize the people that are left behind, then a hospital should be able to do it.
I will say this: if hospitals were allowed to do it, we would see an abnormal amount of people going into it, and that would be scary to see. That so many people are going through it so much mentally that they feel this is the only option, and I don't think we'd be ready to see and live with that truth.
So you'd rather have a random cubicle on the side of the road where people are
not a
going in
cubicle.
there. It doesn't matter. It can be a center. Just because it's a secluded center, it's just for suicides.
Yeah. I'm saying the antithesis is that because, let's say, this product became commercialized and now every country has suicide pods, I don't think we're ready to see how many people feel like they're at their end as humanity.
Yeah.
It would be more scary than what we expected.
Yeah. Because there's people that are, what do they call it? I can't think of the words now. But you are suicidal. It's just that you haven't acted upon it.
Yeah.
And it's a daily thing.
Yeah.
So, and some people, maybe you've tried it and you think about it every single day. Can you imagine people just walking up there? The trauma of being around that center, right? There's people that walk up to it and then go back home.
Yeah.
There's people that walk in and then walk out. And then there's people that just never come back out again. You've got to think of all of that stuff. Drugs.
Yeah, but even with what you're saying, they still shouldn't be arrested for a choice you get to make. They're not making the choice for you.
I hear you.
It's the same as abortion. No one's telling you to get an abortion. No one's forcing you to get an abortion. You walk in and you can still change your mind last minute.
Okay, sure. I don't have much to say on that.
I think we all have these. There's these moments we've glorified in life that are so important to our human existence: marriage, funerals, weddings, birth. In all those moments, there's a moment where you can turn around. No one forced you to make the turnaround. At a wedding, they say, "Is forever hold your peace." What not?
Yeah.
You can go. Listen, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
At a funeral, I guess.
Yeah,
That's different. But there's turnaround moments in all of these. One person gets to make the choice. I don't think prison is the consequence for making a product that is taboo. It's just a taboo product. And likely, and maybe the problem is if they don't get arrested, this will be on the black market.
Oh, man.
And the product will multiply. It will be distributed. I hear it. I just don't think it's deserving of jail.
It'll be interesting to see how it works out.
It's worth a therapy session to ask, why did you make the product? I would like to get into that person's brain. Because maybe he thought there's more sales in death. The same way people create funeral services.
I'd like to marry a man that's going to help me open a funeral parlor.
Okay, next topic. Guys, this is an interesting 51st episode. So we don't actually much time, but let's do this. Tiny and T.I. won a case regarding intellectual property rights around the dolls they made that another company kind of copied and pasted and said it's theirs. So they took them to court. I don't know how long the case is pretty long, but they eventually came out with results last week. They won $71 million. And it basically the premise of this case is it's an intellectual property rights conversation. And what's tricky about such topics is we had this discussion when it comes to content creation about Nara Smith and the other chef. And this is maybe a bit different in the sense that this is not content creation. This is a concept that you really thought could sell and probably was going to sell or did sell. I don't know about that fact. I think my thought regarding that is I'm happy that individuals, and maybe I should say it like this, even though they're celebrities, they are small in comparison to the size of a company that has successful products that are selling. I applaud how this turned out. However, this once again shows how important it is to take your own ideas seriously.
Oh yeah.
Because this also brings up the Castle, is it Castle Lights or Castle Milk Stout that stole someone's karaoke heritage idea, and they never acknowledged where it came from. And we think copywriting ideas is is not a serious thing to do. Maybe it's too expensive to do. Maybe it's that. I wish we could have like a lawyer call in to help us with this conversation, because, and I also want to hear your view on it, because in light of that, they won the case, but now you got the South African lady who's got this chat with Cosmo start stealing an idea, and all she could do was, guys, please make this conversation loud on social media. But even if it's loud, it doesn't mean they have to stop. I am still Cosmo Star. At the end of the day, I have X million people buying my product with or without your noise. EFF boycotted H&M. We are still buying their clothes.
Still, exactly. We've got the whole boycotting of different brands because of the, what is this? Israeli, chat and all of that. We still go there. We still buy. We still listen to certain people's music. We still, go to certain retail stores and buy from there. So I don't know, man. I think it just depends on who you've got in your corner. Yeah, because she can say, guys, please just make noise about this. All I want is to be acknowledged, right? And I sometimes feel like, okay, and then they're like, this concept was by Ellen. For me, it's not enough. You guys are making money out of this thing. I'm sorry, it's not enough. I believe that I came up with it. The person that stole the idea, something, there should be a consequence over there. Because if it's this is not inspiration. This is an idea that was taken and then, they released it. They make money out of it, right? And they say it's theirs. For me, I need to be what's the word? Compensated in some way. I need an apology and I need to be compensated in some way.
I wanted to double down on this chat, because I feel like this is, and I'm not playing devil's advocate here. I think I want to let me play the role of the individual who comes up with the concept.
Yeah.
If I work in corporate South Africa, a lot of companies across South Africa have this policy that if I design or develop something on a laptop that the company gave to me, the policy is whatever I've designed that is making money now belongs to the company.
Okay.
It's not yours.
Yeah.
I've heard this around a lot of global companies as well. Like, if you're doing something that's generating revenue and using our equipment to make that thing happen, it now belongs to us. I think to some degree, and also to be fair to the corporates, it's a tricky thing considering that there's a lot of people in South Africa who can't even afford a laptop.
Okay, I hear you.
So if you're given a laptop and you can't afford one, where are you going to work on your idea? On the company's laptop.
Exactly, yeah.
And what if it blows up? Like, you can't even say, let's do a revenue share, because their policies say, no, it 100% belongs to us.
Yeah.
You are supposed to be doing our work during work hours. You're doing your work during our work hours that we pay you to.
On our equipment. It's therefore ours.
Even though your company is some adult entertainment thing and they say, no, we create educational toys for kids who are 5.
Does it work that way?
Which would be hilarious.
Because I'm just thinking, if it has nothing to do with your company, they can't say it's ours.
Yeah, but you're making X million, even though we don't stand for this. Used our equipment to make that happen. You spoke to people from China to help develop this with our laptop that we gave you.
By the time you realize that I've resigned, I'm gone, bro.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, but more often than not, I'm gone.
So I asked AI, what are the 5 basic things every corporate South African can do if they're trying to, because I think we all at this place in our lives where, yes, you are okay with serving a company, but we all have this dream in our hearts to build something that belongs to us. Yeah. Whether it's our baby or whether it's just us to start something. And the AI said first 5 things you need to do immediately as a South African is register your IP, conduct IP audits, use contracts and agreements, monitor and enforce your IP, develop, and this was last thing I still need to figure out, and I need to learn what this means. And if you are expert in this, please educate me. Develop an IP strategy. I've never heard of that. Where does strategy come into developing IP? But it's a whole conversation I think I need to read up on.
Calvin, where are you when we need you? Also, money for all of those above 5.
That's the one catch.
Money.
Once again, tech and AI doesn't have nuance.
Mm-hmm.
Because for something like this, if someone has an idea, you have an idea. A lot of times in the world, you have an idea but you don't have money.
Yeah.
Someone has money but not an idea.
Yeah.
And you got to find out where does the Venn diagram meet?
Yeah.
Is it just me, or the 51st episode sounds very wholesome?
It does. And I was thinking that it's going to be really messy.
No,
and I was
guys,
looking forward to it.
I'm not the messy one.
Who is the messy? Let's just leave it.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it, because apparently the last time they were like, we thought that TK is the messy one, but actually you, man. Like, oh, okay, sharp. But yeah, it has been very, very, very wholesome. And we've learned quite a bit. Yeah.
Midrand fire.
I just saw the headline. I didn't really go into that this morning.
So there was a whole... guys, by the way, sometimes when we record on a Wednesday for a Friday, depending on how much time or days the studio can allocate to us. By the way, thank you, Amped, for doing this for us.
Always.
This information might be old when this comes out, considering when we're publishing this. Mm-hmm. But there was a fire in a complex in Midrand that literally burned down the entire complex. Saying that out loud is such a weird MF. Like, how does a whole complex, because complexes have sections.
Yeah.
How does an entire complex?
Oh, this is how. Right? So already the fire is out of control. So last week, I think they say caveat, if that's it. Last week, we just outside of my house, one of the senior members of the community was run over by a car, right? Like outside of my house. So I heard it and I ran out. And
sorry, what does that sound like? How did you know?
I've got a lot of buses that pass by my house, right? Okay. And I'm weird in the sense that I know what time my sister gets off the bus and what time she should be home, but sometimes she comes back a little bit earlier. So you go into mum mode, and I've accounted for the kids that are in the house. Everybody's there. The only person that should be on that road would be my sister.
Okay.
If not my sister, then... So obviously when I hear something like that, there's always screeching tires, that kind of thing. It's a loud bang. You could hear tires bursting, whatever. So yeah, we ran out, and they had run over one of the senior members in the community, drunk drivers, right? The car couldn't... They couldn't flee because of damage to the car. He was on the side of the road. Immediately, I call the police. I call first aid or what you call this, ambulance services, whatever. And as you know, we in South Africa, very nonchalant, very, all right, yeah. And then, is he alive? Have the people, are they still there? Yes, they're still here. Okay, we'll send somebody. 30 minutes later, listen, and... Note, I stay walking distance from the fire station. So there should be ambulances there. And just further down the road, maybe about 5 minutes drive, is an emergency ward at the clinic. There's ambulances everywhere. There's police as well. Just walking distance. I can actually see it from my house. If I step out, I can see the fire station and I can see the police station, right? 30 minutes later, nobody. An hour later, nobody. This man is lying there. Little by little, his children start coming back from school, from work, and they're finding him there. And they're getting, worked up because we can't just leave him here. Eventually, they put him in a car. Something that we all knew, and we kept on saying, don't move him, wait for the ambulance. They eventually put him into the car so they could take him to the emergency ward. The ambulance came an hour and 25 minutes later, because I was still outside. We were making sure that the guys in the car didn't run away, right? And that is how an entire complex burns down, because it's starting to burn and you call for help. And then you get somebody on the other side who knows that they don't have the resources or whatever the case may be. And they're like, okay, Shab, we hear you. We're coming. And you're waiting. And it just continues to burn and to burn and to burn. And that is the reality that we have in South Africa. If you don't have, for something that like of that magnitude, I don't think we've got private, sectors or services that can assist there.
Basically, all I heard you say was system is offline.
Yep.
And that's the only team in South Africa that's not winning. Because entertainment, sports, we got it. We're waiting for the people who call themselves leaders to come to the party.
That's because we are hiding other things.
But if you want me to be a minister...
Of what?
I don't know, you guys decide.
I don't think, and I'm fine.
very innovative. I have a growth mindset in everything I do. Don't give me entertainment because I will punish a lot of people.
Where would you want to go?
Enterprise.
Huh. Okay. I mean, I talk to you a lot, and I study how you think, right? So I know that you do well, but just on a surface level kind of thing. I don't stay away from my country.
Who I am outside of work is
stay away from work inside and outside of work. Okay, you've got a problematic side. So
yes, I'm not
you
here
really
to
have
be
to like sit and give you a chance.
Sorry, we need to end this. I think we've reached the hour, right?
Yeah.
This is my one opinion with what I'm saying with this topic now.
Yes.
Politics has convinced people who want to be leaders that to be a leader you need to be liked. But to be a leader is the complete antithesis. You're not there to be liked. You make the most uncomfortable decisions for the growth and future of the people who choose to follow you.
Yeah.
And we've got people going, do you like this? Okay, they say they don't. We're not going to, you idiot.
Yeah, actually.
Take the road that no one wants to take because no one's sure. But because you said it, and we've seen your track record of trying and failing publicly, we can trust that you know what to do now. Okay. That's the leader. Don't call yourself a leader if you want to be liked and you want to tweet nonsense. I'm at Diddy's party, like me now. Shut up. Fire yourself. Please. Vicky, I'm talking to you.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was episode 51.
You can take this over.
Guys, thank you so much for, catching up again with us this week. Remember to like, comment, and share. Subscribe as well. Did I say that? No. But definitely subscribe. We'd like to hear from you. Your opinions, your comments, what you guys have to say to us is really, really important. Yeah. And, we bring it to the show as well. It makes us better and it makes it more entertaining, I suppose. So, yeah, that's it for episode 51. We shall see you again next week where we talk about the week before it ends. I think I missed something, but Calvin, that's why you're here. So, see you next week. Be safe. Love you. Bye.